Hello everybody, this is Skyflight44, aka Zek24, and today we're going to be playing some Need for Speed Underground Rivals. We're doing leisure play today. Oh, last time I did that, long time ago. Let's go about playing some Need for Speed Underground Rivals just because, I feel like it. Also, because I'm obviously recording the game at this very moment in time, and I kind of want to talk about it before I actually get to playing anything else with it. Well, let's just immediately get into something, not even worry about anything else. This ability to go straight into the game with a tricked out ride is actually pretty cool, considering the fact that there's a bunch of different rides you can go about playing with. The problem is, the game is fun, and I'm having fun with it, and I'm not. It really all depends on... really depends on the day, the moment, the race. The biggest thing this is going to be really difficult to do while talking. The biggest thing that I just do not like about this game, and I've said it many times before, is I don't like a racing game that just basically allows you to do whatever you want, whenever you want to. Oops. And let's just say this game is that in spades. It feels like I'm completing a checklist when I go through events. I'm not actually really progressing to anything. The fact that I can just straight up go and do any of the circuits, then just go about finishing all the drag first or any of that. The fact that I just unlock... The only real feel of progression is you unlocking upgrades. That's it. Unlocking new parts, that's it. And then having to complete everything 3 times over. It's a bronze stage, silver stage, and gold. Which is just, in my opinion, padding. It's not all that much harder, and you are basically made to go about doing so. Oops. Went into that way too quickly. Yeah, talking and playing a racing game, not a very good idea. Why did I ever think about it? But that is my biggest problem with this game. Outside of that, there's one track that I cannot seem, and it's been a long time since I played it on actual hardware. But I wonder if the Lincoln connector and the sewer section, as you're going towards the sewer section from the tunnel, I seem to crash for no reason. I seem to completely wipe out for no reason. One thing about this game is it's a lot jumpier. It's a lot bouncier than other Need for Speed games off the top of my head. Definitely has one stage which you are meant to get at. You were 100% meant to get at. And I think that's where my problem's coming in the Lincoln connector, because I think it's the major drop that's screwing with me. Otherwise, I'm going to show you. I'm not going to show you, but I'm not doing, let's go about bringing it to medium. I'm talking, so we're not going to hard. But let's just go about showing you. It may be what I'm talking about, I can give you an example of it at the same time. Hopefully I don't, because it's most likely going to screw me over. This game also doesn't have a lot of tracks to it. Counting it, I think it has like 10, or at least in the custom race. It only has 10 so far. Considering the fact that some of those tracks I've not seen yet, I highly doubt that I'm going to be unlocking any more than that. Which, again, I've played Gran Turismo 3. Gran Turismo 3 has, like, a very small amount of tracks compared to the ambition it has for, okay, what are you going to be doing in the game? Spending hours and hours and hours playing on the same tracks? Oh, that's cool. Yeah, right here. Not the first jump, or the first wall, but this one. Yeah, as you can already see, it's a little bit unstable. Otherwise, it definitely can be a hell of a lot worse, and I've just completely wiped out for no reason. But if I had this game when the PSP originally came out, I don't know whether or not I would be whether or not I would be attached to it is a big thing. Frankly, I don't think I could have gotten attached to it at this point in time, considering the fact that I would have already played Burnout Legends, which is just a better game, and Need for Speed Carbon on the City, which is just a better game. Though, to be honest, I've actually played Undercover, which I've heard terrible things about. But, as a PSP game, I actually prefer it to this game. Though I will admit, I do have some amount. I do like the track design in this game, especially certain tracks. Yeah, that last corner, that last corner really got to me. I'm paying more attention to talking than I am to racing. Though the biggest problem I have is the fact that I'm spending more time thinking than I am talking. So to make note of how bumpy this game can be, let's go and do, was it Nexus Loop? This is major. Oh, and I went the wrong way. I'm supposed to do this the other way around. So, if you go the other way here, you go flying several times. But it is a very bouncy game. And I don't really know if I'm a fan of it. Outside of that, if you go really quickly, the blurring effects on the screen kind of bother me. Less so if I was actually like looking at a PSP than looking at a monitor. Full screen too. At which, oh my god, this can hurt my ass sometimes. But the big thing about the PSP Need for Speed games is they are structured more like the Game Boy Advance. The Game Boy Advance Need for Speed games, even though they definitely are much closer to feeling like, well, one of the console games, obviously. And it just doesn't... I don't know, the Game Boy Advance feeling or the structure just does not feel very organic. Like, one of the things I liked about Need for Speed Underground is the fact that in Underground, there was a certain amount of plot. Not really much of a story. But you follow characters as you go up the ranks. Not much, obviously. It's a racing game. But you do start with certain characters, and as you go through each race, you do see them speak to you before you actually do anything. And that, it feels more like I have a reason to do this than just like crossing it off of a checklist. Also considering the fact that the progression in the game gives me more than just going through and, let's say, I'm not given the freedom to just, I'm going to complete all these circuits before I do anything else. I had to complete everything in the order they want me to. They give me sets of tracks that I can go about completing, and I have to complete them during that time. Okay, what other ones can we go through and show? I don't think I've ever actually done, yeah, I don't think I've ever done City Limits or Gorge Freeway. Let's try these. Oh, damn, I placed on easy. No wonder the game was so easy last time. Too much talking, not enough thinking. Too much thinking, not enough racing. No, I think I might have played this once before. Back when I was actually trying to play this game for myself. Big thing is, I've played a lot of Need for Speed games on the PSP. I played Undercover. I've played Need for Speed Underground Rivals. I played Carbon on the City. I played Most Wanted 510. I gotta admit, this is probably my least favorite. With a close, very close, just being beaten out slightly by Most Wanted 510. At least in that game, I felt more... At least in that game, I felt like I had more of a sense of progression. I have my tiers back for, like, I have all of these events to complete, then I get another one, and I get another set. Wow, this game really is jumpy. But I'm still not too much of a fan of the bland level design in that game, though. Or the fact that tracks just be too long. Which is also an annoyance of mine. The game has quite a lot of shorter tracks and a hell of a lot better level design for them. Especially in the visual aspects, which is something I do believe needs to be done in a racing game. If I'm not, especially if I'm going through a track multiple times, especially in the case of a simulation racing game, the track should be at the very least aesthetically pleasing. And also interesting, but at the very least aesthetically pleasing. And this game does it a lot better than Most Wanted 510 does. Not as well as, let's say, Carbon on the City. And to be honest, I would actually say not even as much as Undercover. I will admit, Undercover looks wonderful. It plays fairly well. I'm just not a fan of some of the gameplay, like being forced to deal with cops. That was one of the better things about Carbon on the City. On the City allowed you to... You had the ability to just not deal with the, what was it called? You didn't have to deal with cops whatsoever, unless you were on the physical map, which you never had to deal with. You didn't have to drive around. You could just choose an event. Though it did give you the option. You never had to deal with cops, because cops would never appear in a race. And to those people that don't like that, well, you didn't have to deal with it. And if you won cops, well, cops were there if you just went around driving around being an idiot. I think I'll do one more. Let's see. Royal Heights. Bayside Run's way too easy. I do like, actually, on that note, let's do Metro Park. I think we might have already done Metro Park. No, I don't know if we've done Metro Park. Let's do Metro Park. And just because I've been placing it on easy a few too many times, let's go and try on hard. Also, what does it mean by catch-up? Does that mean the rubber band's on? Oh, joy. This is another one of the tracks that I actually quite enjoy. There's definitely more hits than misses. It just, even right here, it looks amazing for a PSP game. It just looks cool. I don't even remember if this was the original track we went about doing. Because I do remember doing something and then not really working it well. Yeah, I think we might have done this one before. Oh well. This isn't hard, so... let's see if we can go about beating them. Yeah, that did not want to happen. But from now on, when it comes to a racing game that has copyrighted music, I'm just going to replacing it with fitting music that is, well, obviously, not going to screw me over and get me copyright strikes. So with this, I am going to be using a few different playlists for music, whether or not it's, yeah, again, to fit the mood, is a simulation racing game is probably going to be dealing with more calmer, serene music than, let's say, a street racing game, or an arcade racer, or just Burnout, which is just running on adrenaline. Thank God for 3D Sonic. And their amazing soundtracks, that's all I can say. Though I'm still in the middle of making any of those playlists. And he's trying to be cheeky. But I too can be cheeky with Nitrous. Oh, and I think I've won. But to be honest, I feel as if I'm playing the game on hard with just how frequently, and you'll see it, how frequently I beat the level or the race that I'm doing just by sometimes a fraction of a second. And I'm not trying to screw up, I'm actually playing. It's the best that I can, and I just can't. I can barely do it sometimes. Alright, and even then, at that point, I'm not talking, which means obviously no problem thinking, which means no problem playing the game. Well, with that, have a nice day, everybody.